Hello, in the next two videos I'm going to show you how I use these old Gellii brayer offs, little bits of things that you might have left on your plate at the end of your printing session, and how I turn them into an element that I can use on the iPad to create a piece of digital art. And as you can see by some of these photos, these are just brayer offs. They're just where I rolled my brayer off onto a piece of paper and I photographed it. And then this one I just added some stamping to it, and then I photographed that as well. I have some that are in color, in black and white, some that I've reversed, and I use these in various ways on the iPad, and I will show you some of what I do in that next video. This one is multicolored. You can do that with multiple colors, whatever colors you think will work best with your personal color palette. But as you can see, they're pretty simple, and I've done some in grays and black and white. You'll see this one in an image I'm going to show you. So after we've created these, which is what we're going to do in this video, and then the following video will be the digital work. But some of the things that I've done have been, this particular image here is a combination of an image I started out with using those brayer roll-offs, and I added a photograph and did a bunch of blending on it. I use a couple of different apps. I use Art Studio Pro and Procreate mostly. I have a whole bunch of other apps that can do different types of effects and things like that, but that's a whole nother type of art. So this particular photo, you can see I've used some of those brayer offs in the background, like over on the right side here. And this one is not a layered image. Let me show you a layered image. I believe that would be this one. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off everything and kind of show you the steps that we took to get here. I started out with just a green background, and then I added one of those brayer off shapes. This one is in a blend mode, which is a way of blending it together with the background, and how it normally looks when I put it back in normal is this. And I have brightened it up before after I placed it on here, I brightened this particular layer up, and we'll probably do that in a simple image that we create in the next video. And then I added a second shape in a different blend mode. Then I added a texture, and we're going to cover creating textures as well. And then I have my element that I've put in here twice with different blend modes. And then I took the image into a different app and applied a filter and brought it back. Then I added this brighter brownish panel to pull the element forward a little bit. And then I went ahead and masked out that, I laid it on top of the element, so I masked out the parts that covered what I didn't want it to cover. And then I took the image into an edging app, and I created this grayish edge around it. So that's just an example of what you can do with that. And another example would be this very simple one here. I turn everything off. As you can see right here, I've got my background, and then I added a texture, and then I added that little figure, but this is the shape that we're going to create. And then I added a second one on top. And the second one is just one of those brayer offs. That's all it is. So I added my little shape. I added another shape. And then I went back into that edge program and I created an edge. So today, what we're going to do is we are going to create shapes like this and this. I just turned this into a black and white. So let's get set up for that. Okay, so now we are going to make, this is what they look like on paper. This one even has some crud around the edges, and but I used this one. I've used this one before. So I've pulled out some stencils, some stamps, some paints, and we're gonna kind of get started here. I've got some just copy paper because these are just gonna be photographed and maybe used as collage, but I don't feel the need to use a good heavy paper for this. So this is Hammermill color copy, whatever their color paper is. It's pretty good paper. I like printing on it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I have 2 Gellii plates out. I'll put this one down a little bit where I can see it. Just a 5x7 and an 8x10. I'm going to use one as a palette, of course. And the first color I'm going to use is the transparent yellow oxide. And I'm just going to roll it out on this one and just kind of decide how I want to place the brayer. And then I'm going to grab, I'm going to try this stencil here, see what I can get. That looks pretty decent. And maybe do some down here. This is a stencil from PM Artist Studio. And we're going to just take a print of this. Now remember, these are strictly elements that I'm going to use digitally, so they do not have to be perfect. On my iPad, I'll probably get rid of some of these little bits that I don't think belong. But otherwise, we're just gonna continue on. And I'm gonna do a couple with each color just to kind of let's do a little bit smaller one here. Maybe an L shape. And it doesn't matter what size plate you're working on because you can resize these anytime you want, or to any size you want. Now I'm going to pick up some text. I think this stamp is a Robyn McClendon stamp from Art Foamies. I'm not sure where I got this stamp. In the description box, I will put the names of the companies of the products that I used today. So now, let's pull that one up. That one's okay. And so then I think I'm going to switch colors. And I'm going to go ahead and take a print of what was on my on the plates, just to kind of clean them up. I might be able to use that. Put that aside. So now let's go to another color. I think I want to do some turquoise. I'm using a variety of different paints. I typically prefer a matte paint, but sometimes there's they dry very, very fast, so sometimes that's not practical. Dick Blick has some really good matte paints, and they're reasonably priced, but the container is very difficult to squeeze the paint out of. I mean, you have to really squeeze hard. It's not like some of the other craft paints on the market. And I do believe that this is a student grade paint. I'm not really sure. I don't really care. I just know that it was inexpensive. These paints are called Ara, A-R-A. In 2019, my husband and I went to Iceland for our, it was a year late, but it was our 20th anniversary. We are coming up on 25. Wow. And I went into an art store there, and I picked up a couple of paints because I wanted to try them, different brands. And I love this paint on the Gellii plate. It's not that expensive. I get mine from a place called Jackson Art Supply in Great Britain. Shipping is fast. It takes about 5 to 9 days to get to me. So that's better than some places in the US. Oh, let's open this. So, oh, it's new. That's why. Hello. This is a new bottle of paint. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of this lighter color, and you'll see why in a minute. It'll come out. All right. So now for this shape, actually I'm going to drag some of this in here and lighten this up just a little bit. Why is my brayer not rolling? Probably because it's dirty. So I'm just going to kind of make a shape here. And then I'm going to grab a stamp. This is a wood block I've had for 100 years. And I really like this print. So I'm going to stamp this on here. And I may use a lighter color with this stamp or wood block. Put some of this lighter color over here. And then maybe, see what I have over here. I'll do this little decorative stamp from PM Artist Studio in the middle. So do you see where I'm going with this? You really make a shape. Play around with it. You can brayer off. You can do them on the gel plate. I want to redo that one. That one didn't come out as good as I wanted it to. And I'm not going to worry too much about leaving stuff on the plate. I'm just going to kind of go over it. And then I'm going to do this one. And grab some of this lighter color. Come out. It's kind of like the ketchup bottle. You shake and shake and shake and it won't come out, and then it all comes out all at once. I'm just going to use the same stamp. Now, I'm not used to, haven't filmed in a while, so normally I would immediately put these stamps and stencils and stuff in the bucket of water. But that takes a lot of time. All right, that's better. I just want to see what kind of ghost I can get here. And that might be an interesting element we can use. And now I am going to go back to my 5x7 plate. And I have not used these amazing stamps that Froyle did, Froyle Davies. So I'm going to use those in here. And then I'm going to pull this whole thing. Once again, I got these from PM Artist Studio. Like I said, I will link what I used in the description box. And I'm going to let this sit here a while just to make sure. In the meantime, I want to do one more play with a sort of a green gold. This is equivalent to the green gold by Golden. This one's a little bigger than I anticipated. Let me grab I actually want one of these stamps, and some of these are my own stamps that I've had made over the years. this one is. Just push it down. And I don't really know how this is going to look until I pull this up with a piece of paper. So let me grab that paper because one of the, there we go. And while that one's drying, that's not too bad. Oh, I like that one. That one turned out really well. The good thing about digital art is you can change the colors on these. I like that one. So I typically go for shape and not so much color. I am going to switch over and do a little bit of a darker one right now with the transparent red oxide. And I don't care that it's mixed with this green. Kind of come out this way, maybe a little bit this way. And then I'm going to take another wood block. Ooh, that one's really nice. Okay. Let's take the stamp again. I'm just sort of stamping on this plate as I've rolled it off because I think now what I'm going to do is pull this off with some white paint and see what kind of designs I get here for my last ones for today. And then in the next part of the video, I'm going to be showing you what I do with them after I've photographed them. Probably should have waited for that to dry. I'm not the most patient person in the universe. That is one thing I am working on. I've done Taekwondo for a number of years. Actually, more like a number of over the decades. And I recently, about a year and a half ago, got my black belt for the second time, my second black belt. And one of our little part of our student creed is I will practice patience, modesty, and self-control. And that's really true. All you can do is practice it because I don't know anybody that's really good at any of those. Oh, I love this. Look at this. Okay, we can definitely use that. And this one. See, why are the last pieces of the session or the last pieces of the day the best that you do? The pickups from all of the other stuff that's on there. So I'm going to now photograph all of these and I'm going to put them on my iPad, and in the next video we're gonna put these together and I'll show you how I create an image with all of these. Now, you can roll these out without a gel plate. I like using the gel plate, but you can sit here and put some paper here and just, you know, rub your brayer across. You can use brayer offs if you've used a piece of paper to the side of your work and you have a brayer off that doesn't look like you're going to be able to use it in collage. Well, put some stamping on it and then photograph it and see, because you never know. So I will see you in part 2 of this video. Thank you.